competition is taking no prisoners. You don't have to believe me. I dare you to pick up any paper from this month. Pick a day. Get one out of the garbage can. And I guarantee you, you will find one where they're either laying off somebody or they're merging, somebody buying somebody else up. They are even redefining big.
One of your sayings, you say, permanent is temporary, temporary is permanent,
yes,
and that nobody is safe.
That's correct. The reason I say that is because when I entered the workplace in 1970, it was stable. If you interviewed for a job, if you were hired, if you understood your job description, if you came to work on time, did what you were supposed to do, you were safe. You had a job for life. You had retirement, you could expect to go watch. They brought in temporaries when someone went on vacation, if someone had a baby, or if someone called in sick. And temporary was just that. It was temporary. Now, as we move toward the year 2000, that's not true anymore. Competition and technology has fixed it so that the companies cannot define what success is. There is no job description. It is about being able to work as a team. It is about being able to include people, but more than anything else, it's about results. If you can generate the results, you have a job. If you can't, you don't have a job. Most of the layoffs are not because they need less people. Many of them is because they need different skill sets. And so they don't want to bring in permanent people anymore because your skills are not going to be permanent. The demand for your skills is not going to be permanent. And it's insidious for people to walk around taking it personally. There are people who literally wake up thinking that these corporations decided, they thought about it all night terminating them. Who's got time to think about you? These people are trying to survive. And maybe they're not going about it the right way, but they're going about it the only way that they can. So the bottom line is they're going to bring in more temporary people because they want to assess your skill set. They want to find out if your skill set is flexible. They want to find out, can you serve me today and tomorrow? And if you can serve me today and not tomorrow, I don't want to have to go through a long, drawn-out process to terminate you. So yes, there will be more temporary workers. In fact, there will be fewer, better people. And the fact of the matter is, everybody is an independent contractor. And to the degree they understand that and not go in there expecting security, they won't be walking around long-faced when they're terminated. There's nothing these companies would like to do more than keep the experienced people. If they could add agility to the ability, they wouldn't lay off people. But there are too many people in these corporations who think because they've been there 30 years, they deserve to stay there until they retire. Nobody's got time for you to retire. And I am not the CEO of a major corporation, so I'm not defending anybody. Mm-hmm. I'm saying that reality says you run this company objectively, you get the revenue in, you keep the expenses down, you keep the profit healthy, or you will be bought out. Because every company knows that right now they're either predator or prey. And for the employees who are walking around and think that they have the luxury of complaining about these companies while collecting their paychecks, well, their days are numbered. Mm-hmm. And I've seen it too much these days.
In your book, you talk about we are experiencing a real changing of the guard.
Yes. Well, what that means is that when the workplace first started, it was all white male. Not even predominantly, but all. And that was by design because the white male actually built the workplace. And people don't like to hear that, but the bottom line is I've taken the opportunity to study it. And it was built for and by the white male. Women were not in the workplace, and that was by design also. In fact, when the corporate America first started, women were called organizational wives, and their responsibility was to support the male and take care of the home and those kinds of things. Minorities weren't there. Blacks were brought over to help build America, but we weren't really a part of the workplace. As time evolved and we moved from the Industrial Revolution to the Information Revolution, there wasn't so much to do at home anymore. And women discovered that they were smart and they had a contribution to make too. And so they've now decided to come into the workplace. Minorities have decided that, particularly African Americans, that even though we came over here against our will, we are here, and we too are smart and we want a piece of the American pie. And then you have the people from other countries who've decided that America is a wonderful place to be, and they want to be here. And then you have people with disabilities who in the past have been put in the background, and they too realize that this is an intellectual world. So whereas the workplace years ago was 100% white male, because of demographics, because of competition, because of shrinking talents, because of diversity, because of the global aspect of business and those kinds of things, then you're going to have to make room, because diversity means nothing more to me than mirroring the workplace with the marketplace. And so whereas the white male is fine and intelligent and as great as he ever was, what he is recognizing is that money comes from the hands of many people. And if you want to be able to attract that money, then you must have people inside of your organization that knows those people. One thing I learned when I first entered sales years ago, they said that if you want to be there when John Jones dies, then you must see John Jones through John Jones' eyes. And we can very well say Gene Jones. And so if you look at the automobile industry, it was once predominantly male. Now they're finding that women have money too, so they must have some women salespeople. And so the Guard is changing. It's starting to be a more diverse Guard. The Guard is starting to look more like the world. The world does not look like me. It doesn't look like you. It doesn't look like any one person. And the one thing I found out about the bottom line, it is gender and race neutral. Dollars are the same. There's no such thing as a big dollar and a little dollar. They're all the same. The only thing that happens is that you get more dollars or less dollars. And so the corporations that recognize that will build their corporation so that they have a diverse team to attract diverse dollars. And if that's going to happen, the Guard simply must change. The Guard must be diverse, and so must the dollar.
What would you say is the biggest obstacle that people need to overcome to be successful?
Believing that someone knows what it is. The biggest obstacle I've seen to success is that everybody assumes that there's a cut and dry answer to it. And success is nothing but emotion. First of all, there must be two types of success. One has to be your own personal success and what that means to you. Once you get that, if you want to appeal to other people, you must appeal to their emotions. And the mistake that people make is that they believe there's a Wizard of Oz, and this person has a formula, and all I have to do is fit into that formula. And the bottom line is, all I need to do to be successful is to engage you emotionally, because there's no price too high to one whose deepest needs have been met.
Your definition of success was different, though, when you first started working to what it is today.
Absolutely. When I first started working, I thought success was about having a home and lots of money and a car and a lot of tangible external things. And I've come to realize that success is an inside job. It's internal. It's peace of mind. It's waking up every morning and knowing that the best person in the world is you. Yes, I have changed a lot.
When did you come to the realization that you were successful?
I think that's an evolving process. Sometimes I don't feel so successful, and sometimes I feel very successful. But the thing that I'm most proud of is that I'm very, very proud to be me. But success is something that is ever evolving. As you look at the world changing, as you get all of the answers and they keep changing the questions, you start to wonder sometimes, do you have what it takes to keep reaching and to keep stretching, those types of things. But the most important thing is to be operating from an internal gauge. So I think for me, I think when I left corporate America, I realized basically that success was mine. But I also recognize that we live in a very monetary world. And if you don't have money, even though the best things in life are free, if you don't have any money, you can't get to them. And so I'm always working with that part of it, even though I say that the tangible things is what I used in the past, even though I don't care about the acquisition of them, to have the power to acquire them is still very much important. Because one of the things I love to do more than anything else, believe it or not, is just sit on my porch and watch the birds and watch the squirrels and those kinds of things. But it's awful hard to sit peacefully on your porch if you can't pay for it. And so it's always intermingling that internal success with the external powers that it takes in order to maintain that peace of mind inside. We must understand that just because you take actions, it doesn't mean you're always going to be successful. You're going to make some mistakes. And people just hate making mistakes. Nobody wants to be wrong, but you know, people who don't make mistakes don't make anything.